In today's episode, we're going to talk about what a financial advisor actually can do for you. And we're actually going to break this up. We're going to have another video, the follow-up video, that we're going to talk about what they can't do for you. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video, because then we're going to cover the one worthwhile question you need to ask to make sure you're getting value from your financial advisor.
With Scott Dugan of Elevated Retirement Group. And Scott, yes, indeed, a great episode today. We're going to talk in the next video, like you said, about the things that your advisor can't do for you. But today we're kind of focusing on that positive start, what they can do for you. And this all comes down to expectations, right, Scott?
Absolutely. And so, taking, stock what an advisor really can do for you, and so really clearing up the myths and misconceptions. We want to deal with facts and logic. And ultimately, an advisor, the thing that they need to be able to do is make sure that you make decisions that are truly in your best interest and get you closer to your goals and give you the highest probability of success to your goals.
So let's get to our list here, Scott.
Sure.
A way to find out if you're going to be able to get that additional value. One of the ways is to set those expectations for what a financial advisor can and honestly should be doing for you. And we've got a list of 5 here to round out the episode today. So the first one is to create a personalized financial plan. I would imagine the personalized word is the most important of that sentence.
Yes. And again, we're starting with a plan, not the investment makeup.
Yes.
So
this is a broader thing we're putting together.
The plan comes before the investment selection.
Okay.
And so an advisor should be very keen and adept at asking the right questions to thoroughly understand what it is you're trying to accomplish, what's important to you, what's your goals, what are your fears, what are your desires. The better that advisor can get that out of you and have those conversations. An advisor's job is to take all that information and turn that into a plan to follow to give you the highest probability of success of what you want. That's what a great advisor does, is to have those discussions, sometimes those difficult discussions. I have conversations with people, and I can tell you how many times that someone will say, I've never told this to anyone. This is the first time I've ever said this out loud to someone.
Wow. That's a personal, intimate conversation. Yeah.
That's the depth of the conversations that we're having. And so I can tell you that, give a perfect example of someone that was not sure if they wanted to engage an advisor. And sometimes people say, oh, it's because of the fee they pay. Well, this person came in and it was not the fee at all that they were concerned about. That was not the barrier. The barrier was they thought that they had not done a good job. They didn't feel like they were organized. They didn't feel like they were on track. That has been the barrier for them to seek an advisor.
It's like a barrier of shame a little bit. Like they were
absolutely.
ashamed. Yeah.
They were concerned they were going to be judged by an advisor because of what they thought and where they stood. And the irony is these people were very organized. They're very good savers. They don't have a lot of crazy debt, and they are really well on track from what they've told us how they experience life, what it costs them, and when they want to retire, they're really on track. But it took, it's been a few years they've been thinking about engaging with someone. So in less than 90 minutes, at the end of that, I said, if nothing else, I will, and if we're going to meet again, I said, but if we never met again, I just want you to know you're going to be okay. This is going to work if you continue down this path. Are there things that we could do to make it better? Absolutely. Are there things that we could give you a higher probability? Maybe some things we could do to help you retire early? Absolutely. But you could just see that stress drop.
Yeah.
So good advisors can help you do that. But again, it's part of the, what do you want? What do you have? Get organized, and let's put a plan together to get you, again, point you in the right direction and get you there the quickest.
I think it sets the tone nicely for the fact that in an advisory relationship like this,
Mhm.
we need a zoomed out perspective. I think
Yeah.
too often people start with this zoomed in view of what that relationship looks like, and you're missing all these other puzzle pieces on the table because you're just looking at this kind of very central area. So make
Mhm.
sure as you think about working with an advisor, you zoom out a little bit and see all these different things that are possible to get help and get assistance with. Because sometimes people think financial advisor just means broker, someone to help me pick stocks or
Yeah.
pick, mutual funds.
Yeah.
And it's so much more than that. So we got to zoom out to fully understand that relationship.
Uh,
That takes us to point number 2, Scott.
mhm.
One of those elements of zooming out is you're getting a little bit of psychological coaching along the way. And so,
Mhm.
item number 2 on our list is that an advisor can keep you from making emotional decisions.
Yes, absolutely. And we're not clinicians. We're not dime store psychologists or anything like that.
No
Uh,
licenses here.
yeah, no licenses there. Now there are courses that are available, in the financial planning world that talk about behavioral finance, which is a actually ever expanding area of helping people understand. More importantly, it's like, how have you made financial decisions in the past? Step one is discovering what process have you used in the past. Has that process been positive or negative? And in that process, is the information you're using to make decisions, is it accurate?
Hmm.
Is it outdated? And that's where we talk about misconceptions and misunderstandings. And you've heard me talk about this before. And we talk about, a lot of our classes we teach. I start one of the classes with a real quick quiz. What color is a stop sign? And guys, what color is a stop sign? It's
Red.
red and white. All
Yeah.
right. Well, and what color is a yield sign? And everyone in the room says
Is it orange?
yellow and black.
Oh, yellow and black. Okay.
Everybody says yellow and black.
I'm.
Right?
They're going to take my license away if I get these wrong, Scott.
That's right. Yeah. The DMV is not listening. Don't worry. And I got asked that question years ago, and I said yellow and black. And there's a whole room of people, and everybody's yellow and black. But in reality, the yield sign has been red and white since 1971.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was born in 1973. It's never been yellow and black in my lifetime, but I pulled that answer out of my subconscious like I was certain it was yellow and black.
Because you saw it once and it just like imprinted forever.
Yep. And so that's an idea. What does it have to do with planning? Well, we have a lot of misconceptions because the media is just barraging us with things that can get in the way. So if we go back to what's your decision-making process, what questions, what information are you using to make decisions? Do we need to alter those? Do we need to install better information or better questions? Because once we go through that process, we want to get that installed before we make additional decisions down the road. So it's decision-making process. Is it tight? Is it solid? And then having conversations about what's important to you. What do you want to experience? What do you want to do in retirement? And it goes way beyond just, it's vacation or golf or hobbies. It's like, what do you want to experience? What do you want to give back? Do you want to spend time with kids? Do you want to make sure that all the life lessons or the important life lessons you've learned over the years, those are given to the next generation? And so that is that big part of it, is making sure, hey, once you've got that foundation laid, once we put a solid plan into place that gets you on track for your goals, not somebody else's, but your goals, it's constantly revisiting and making sure, are we continuing to make decisions based on facts and logic? Perfect example, we've talked about it this year. Right now, there's people listening to this show. There are people that have been operating post-election, and it's a very negative time internally for them because of their candidate did not win. So they're existing. Right down the street, there are people that or their family members or neighbors that are having a completely opposite experience in the world. And they're experiencing it as they're more excited, more enthusiastic about it. And I'm not saying one is right or wrong. I'm just telling you, because I'm having these conversations,
Yeah.
there are people having two completely different experiences in the same world, taking in maybe not the same information, but maybe carefully curated information on either side.
Mm.
And our goal is not to be political. It is to help you stay on track, define what's important to you. And is your plan still solid? And are you still able to do what you want to do in your retirement or getting close to retirement? And making sure, again, we don't make decisions that are going to cost us down the road. So that's the behavioral side. That's the emotional side. And again, it's making sure we understand how are we operating? What information are we using? What software are we using to make decisions going forward?
I was at a couple of recent friend gatherings, and one felt like a funeral, Scott, and the other felt like a wedding. The two different, and otherwise a lot of similarities between the makeup of the groups, but that was a very defining line, just to like the atmosphere. So I imagine your meetings are probably like that, where one feels one way and one feels very different.
Yeah, one meeting, my 9 a.m. is going to be different from my 10:30.
Yeah,
than my 1. It's just the way it goes. But again, my job, our job, all our advisors, all of our team members is, again, to keep people focused on their plan, their path, what's important, and what can you control and what is out of your control.
Is your retirement strategy working as hard as you are? Get the answers you deserve with Elevated Retirement Group's information-packed toolkit. Inside, you'll get Scott's book, Exceptional Retirement, along with essential insights covering the 5 key areas of retirement planning, strategies to keep more of your hard-earned money, and how to choose your winning retirement team. Take control of your retirement today. Click the link in today's show description to claim your toolkit at no cost to you.
Well, it's part of that zooming out again, right? Zoom out. So this is we're very zoomed in on the table again, and we're only seeing a few of the puzzle pieces if we're getting kind of emotionally driven by this latest development in the world. But let's make sure we're zooming out in this financial conversation.
Exactly. That's 100% correct.
Yeah. I also think about that one too, emotional decision making. I think a lot of people just kind of equate it to, the market's hot, I got to get in, or the market's crashing, I got to get out. But you highlighted, again, it's a much more zoomed out view. It's biases that have been built into us for years, and just so many other layers to that. So again, I really appreciate that fact that this is bigger than I think most people realize in terms of the help that they can get here. By the way, if you like this kind of conversation about emotional decision making and biases and things like that, go back and check out the podcast library. If you happen to be new to your Retirement Elevated, Scott's done a bunch of cool episodes diving into behavioral finance and all those kinds of things. So highly recommend that. All right, let's get to item number 3, Scott. This one's going to be providing discipline and accountability. Rehashes a little bit of what we've talked about just because it layers itself into all of these different planning areas, but deserves its own spotlight.
Definitely. And so when we talk about discipline, having an investment discipline, having a plan of action, that gives us a roadmap. Right? And so when we talk about the latest fad or the latest, headline, it's our job if someone comes to and says, hey, should we have a bunch of crypto in our portfolio? Okay. Should we cash out of a bunch of stuff and go to crypto? Or, oh my gosh, we've had this, this person got elected. Should we go to cash? Or I had one discussion, should I move all my money overseas to another place? That's a definitely a highly emotional reaction to, the current administration. And so again, sorting out the fads that are out there. Oh, should we be very focused on artificial intelligence? It's like, well, we probably don't need to dig up the tree, uproot the tree we don't do that every 90 days.
Yeah.
Okay? You planted a seed many years ago. You started putting money into your 401k, and that seed sprouted, it grew roots. That tree got taller, it got leaves, it weathered winters, summers, springs. You didn't have to dig up the tree and take it inside, okay? It lost its leaves definitely in that cycle, but that tree continued to grow. Some years it grows quickly because of the environment or the weather. Sometimes it's slower. Sometimes we have longer winters, sometimes longer springs, longer summers. Those things ebb and flow. Okay? Your retirement, your nest egg is that tree. And the deeper the roots, the stronger the trunk, the more it can withstand. And so, we take care of that. And really, boiling it down, if we're disciplined about saving systematically and investing over time, and we build up a nest egg that we can turn into a paycheck, right? That's the magic. That tree grows because it gets, sunlight, it gets water, that's what it does. We don't have to do a lot to it. But the hard part is, hey, can we get the tree? Can we get it past its vulnerable stage and let it grow? When it comes down to that discipline and accountability, it's discipline to stick to the plan that's going to give you the highest probability of success. Okay. And accountability, or more sounding, kind of a sounding board, is, hey, if you told us you wanted these things, and if that hasn't changed, and there's no rationale to dramatically change the plan or portfolio, let's be disciplined and stick to the course.
Yep.
And that's what a good financial planner can do.
This one's got a great parallel to physical therapy, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners and viewers have been through at least some stint of that before in their lives. And I just started back up recently, Scott, to help me with some ankle issues. And the physical therapist said, well, I was going to have you come in twice a week, but maybe we can get away with just once and you can do stuff at home. And I said, no. I was like, do the twice a week. I want the discipline and accountability that I'm at least getting you kicking my butt twice a week. And then I can hopefully add on to that, obviously, at home. But no, I want that accountability and discipline. So
that's a great point. I actually just listened to a podcast over the weekend, and it talked about humans. If we get a prescription of like antibiotics, then the average person, I think it roughly finishes about 55 to 60% of the prescription.
Ooh, and you're supposed to go 100%, right? You're always supposed to finish the course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you take your dog to the vet, 95% of the population that get a prescription for their dog, 95% of the time finishes that course of antibiotics. So when you think about, not everyone has the ability, not because they're not intelligent, not because they're just human.
Yeah.
And an advisor has a process and a structure, and they keep first things first. They know what's important, and they will help make sure that you take the medicine and stay on plan.
It also shows that we tend to love our dogs even more than we love ourselves.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Another lesson in there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to item number 4. Again, we're talking about what your financial advisor can do for you. Don't forget, the next video we do is going to be about things that your advisor can't do. So the next one on our list of things that your advisor can do is to simplify complex financial decisions. This isn't necessarily the explain it to me like I'm 5 mentality, but in a way sort of is, right, Scott? Like, hey, I don't do this every day. Help boil it down for me.
Yeah. And actually, I will get into this. I had a perfect example of a new family that we've accepted into the firm. They're coming on board. And actually, I've met them a long time ago. They were still working. Timing wasn't right. And so we re-engaged and going through everything. And then our plan design meeting, that's where we sit down and we outline our recommendations after we've discussed, what they're trying to accomplish. And the comment was, I just want to thank you for taking the time to answer all of my questions and explaining things to me in a way that was easy to assimilate, easy to take in. Now, this person is a PhD. So very bright. Yeah. Both of them, husband and wife, both very bright. And I said, well, I appreciate the kind words. And I said, I feel that we owe it to you to answer all your questions to make sure you're making good decisions before we committed. And I said, I'm also a little disappointed in my industry because you've had the same advisor for over a decade. And this is the first time, especially in your retirement, that you felt you got all your questions answered, and that you felt comfortable and confident in the direction you're going in. So the good news is you've been a great saver, got a great income. But I said, that was my immediate thought was, I'm appreciative of the kind words. I'm a little mad that my profession doesn't do a good enough job of answering people's questions, being patient, and not using acronyms and a lot of legalese types of things to impress people. That's not what people want. They want to know, am I going to be okay? Is my money going to last as long as I do? If life throws me a curveball, can I handle it financially? And is my spouse going to be okay if something happens to me, if I predecease them? That's what most people want, not a bunch of acronyms and legalese and mumbo jumbo. That's just not it.
Yeah. No, it's not at the top of the list for sure.
Nope.
Let's get to the last one, number 5. And again, this is what people think is often the main thing when really it's just part of the thing. And that's to optimize your investment strategy. That's the 5th thing that your advisor can do for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And remember, that's optimize doesn't mean outpacing the market. Optimizing means looking at what are your resources, what are your needs, and building a solid plan with the proper investments that, again, that keep you on track and allow you to do the things you want to do, to be financially independent, to spend confidently. That's what optimizing a portfolio or a plan is about. When to take Social Security. How do you optimize that in the context of the plan? How do we minimize taxes? Right? So if you think about, even if we should pay off debt, we had a client come in, prospective client. They said, hey, a quick question. And again, they were almost like, I can't believe I'm actually asking this. But I said, no, let's hear the question. I said, well, I've got a $20,000 credit card bill, and I've got $50,000 in my money market. Should I pay off the credit card bill? I said, well, let's look at the facts. What is your interest rate on your credit card? And it's a little over 24% per year. What are you getting on your money market account? 2.2% per year, not month. So negative 2% interest rate on the credit card growing, and you're making 2% in the thing. I said, so what if we just took that 20,000 that's not really making very much, eradicated that debt? You're negative 24% in the hole on that debt. Let's just wipe that out, get you to zero.
Yeah.
And then let's build up that cash cushion quicker. So again, that's how we optimize the portfolio and the plan. It wasn't about picking the hot stock. It's where's money flowing and can we make better choices with those dollars?
Yeah. Excellent. Well, there you have it. The 5 items on our list today, the things that your advisor can do for you. Again, personalized plan, help you avoid emotional decision making, helping provide that discipline and accountability, also making sure that those complex financial decisions are simplified, easier to understand, and optimizing your investment strategy. All right, Scott, as Billy Crystal said, the one thing.
One thing. Just one thing.
That's great, but what's the one thing?
What was that one question that you teased us at the beginning of the episode that everybody needs to kind of just put at the forefront when thinking about working with an advisor?
Is the advisor adding more value than the fee you're paying them? That is the number one thing you need to answer. And that could be tax efficiency. That could be relieving you from the pressure of having to make all the decisions. It could have someone there to help you not make bad decisions, make an emotional decision. And again, as long as the fee you're paying, the value exceeds it, then it's a no-brainer. But if in the back of your mind, you can't get over, it's like, I could save money. I don't have to I could do this myself. And I get it. We can save money by mowing our own grass, by painting our house, roofing our own house, things like that. Those things are low-level decisions. Now, I could do most of those things myself. I choose to not do most of those things. Why? I choose to spend my time pursuing other things I enjoy. And candidly, I did a lot of those things younger to make ends meet and get myself through school. So I've done a lot of those things.
Sure.
Right? But I wouldn't do heart surgery on myself. Okay. I'm not going to take very delicate things, very important things, and rely upon me and my psychology to do them.
Yeah.
And that's where most people hire an advisor to strategically delegate important things to them so they can go on living their life and enjoying themselves in retirement.
You don't even have to be as dramatic as heart surgery. You're not going to put in your own stitches, right? Like
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
I have a set of knowledge and experience and wisdom. So do our advisors. But just like the client that was a PhD and an educator all their life, way more intelligent in that realm. I would defer to them if I had questions in their specialty. Same thing, clients or attorneys, business owners. I would defer to them if they had that expertise. People choose to defer to an advisor because they have the expertise and can guide them down the right path.
So look at the cost of that relationship with an advisor, taking into account both the tangible items, but then also all of these intangible things that your advisor can do for you, all the different ways that needle can get moved. And I like how you said that this should be a feeling, really. This should be an opportunity to say, I'm getting a ton of value here, way above what I'm paying. That's a great sign. And if you're not getting that feeling, then additional questions to start to pop up and figure out why is that the case, and then diagnose from there. But you've given us a great foundation and starting point to figure that out on today's episode, Scott. And we covered a ton, but we're not done yet. On the next video, we're going to cover what your advisor can't do for you, and that's going to reveal a whole different side of this conversation too. So I'm looking forward to that. In the meantime, if you'd like to work with Scott, you can certainly do that. Just reach out. We've got contact information in the description of today's show, so you can find it easily as well as on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. And you can always go to listentoscott.com for past episodes and more information on the show website there. That's listentoscott.com. Until next time, Scott, thank you so much. We'll look forward to that next episode coming up soon.
Looking forward to video number 2.
You got it. It'll be new videos every week on the channel, so come back and check us out or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll look forward to it then. Until then, take care, and we'll talk to you next time on Your Retirement Elevated.
This video has been prepared for educational and marketing purposes only. The information in this video is general in nature, does not constitute personalized investment advice, and does not provide a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. All investments involve risk, and different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk. There can be no assurance that any specific investment strategy will be profitable or suitable to you. Additionally, although information presented in this video is believed to be factual and up to date, we do not guarantee its accuracy. You should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation and should consult a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies mentioned in this video. Investment advisory services are offered through Elevated Capital Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC. Registration as an investment advisor does not constitute an endorsement of Elevated Capital Advisors LLC by securities regulators, nor does it indicate that the firm has attained a particular level of skill or ability. Insurance advice and products may be offered by a third-party insurance producer, which may be affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC and Elevated Capital Advisors LLC. Walter Storholt and Third Wheel Media LLC receive compensation for their assistance in preparing and hosting this video.